Hey everybody, it's Dustin again with the Webex Devices team, and today we're going to talk about configuration of devices, and not just any configuration. We're going to talk about bulk configuration. And while this concept is not new for Cisco devices in general, we've been able to do this for a long time in regards to templates and things with Call Manager, for example, TMS, the management platform. There's been a lot of different ways to be able to select different devices or a subset of devices and be able to push out configurations on a grander scale. There's also a lot of great tools out there that can do this. As many people know, we do have our API, which is available both for on-prem and for CloudX API, which is a lot of the same APIs, but leveraging the cloud to be able to send those communications. And there's ways to do some scripting to be able to send these configurations out. There's also a great utility, a tool called CE Deploy, written by a friend of mine, Chris Norman, here at Cisco. And stay tuned, we're going to do a special video on that coming up to highlight a great tool that is for you. But the excitement here now is that for those of you who have cloud-connected devices, there has been a little bit more of a struggle there. Or if you've had Webex Edge for devices, which is where you can have your on-prem call manager, call control device, or VCS for that matter, but you could still do configuration pushes from Control Hub as long as you were on CE 913 or later. But the challenge has always been to be able to do these types of configurations in a bulk way. It's been more of a one-to-one kind of configuration standpoint. So I'm excited to say that we now have generally available the ability to do this bulk type config inside of Control Hub, and we're going to do a little demo of that today and kind of give you an idea of how that's going to work, as well as a couple little hints about some things that might be coming down the road as well. But I tell you what, let's just go ahead and start into this here. Let's get some demos going here. So what we've got here is I've got my Control Hub listed up here. We've got a bunch of devices on here, and I'm going to go straight to my Devices tab. And so there's a lot of devices that I have here. And one of the things that some people may or may not have seen or have had in the EFT is that we do have this new Edit Devices tab. And what I want to kind of highlight here is that you've got this box right here which allows you to check all of your devices, or you can uncheck it and do none of the devices. But you can sort your devices, to help kind of figure out what you want to do. But another thing you can do here is if you did your device search and you did a filter. So let's say that I'm going to try Webex board. Well, I can search through here and pick just this type of board or product that I want. So under this product tab here, or area here, so I can pick these different versions of the Webex boards. So let's say I just wanted to do 85S boards. This is all of the 85S boards that I have available. You'll see the current status of them. The Webex Edge board, that's the one that I always use. It's actually behind me. I do have it turned off. You gotta save the power bill every once in a while. But of course I can select all these devices, and when I do, or even if I don't select all of them and I just select one, for example, I can go to Edit Devices. Now if I just select the one here, it's going to tell me this device type. I can actually do just like I would a single device and edit some configurations. You guys, sorry, this is actually showing me my new menu here. I'm going to actually exit out of this and say yes. So we'll go back here. But if I select, and let's just do this here, let's select a couple of them. But I select a couple of devices here, and you'll see that I have two device types selected here, Webex board, 85S's. I can do bulk configuration of digital signage, for example. I can also do configuration changes. Now, before I go to this, I want to talk about this down here, which is the tagging capability. And the reason I want to mention this is because not only can I do bulk tagging in this use case, which we've had this for a little while, I want to show you where this could come in common. And I'm going to say here, and there's no tags that are on both of these that overlap, so or on them at all. I'm going to say bulk demo. So I've added that tag here, and I'm going to go ahead and exit out of this. So up here, you'll see where I did my 85S for my query, for my filter here. I'm going to take that off, and now what I'm going to type is bulk demo. And if you'll notice here, I have a tag selection where my tag bulk demos created. If I click on that, I now have Webex board 85S's that are listed here. Now let's talk about how we can get even more granular here. So let's do Desk Pro. And let's just go to, we'll go to my buddy Kevin here. He's got a Desk Pro. I'm going to select this one. I'm going to edit it. And I'm going to add a tag. And let's do that same bulk demo tag for his as well. So I have that added. And I'm going to go back up here now. Go back to my filter. And I'm going to do my bulk demo. And you'll notice here I have 3 devices. So now, what if I want to add a new filter and I want to say Webex board 85S? So now that I've added my 2 filters, I'm able to really select or choose the type of devices that I want to be able to select for any of these bulk configuration changes. So again, just kind of a quick little highlight of how you can use things like tagging or different search filters or criteria to really decide what type of devices that you're going to want to make a mass or a group of changes to. So we'll just leave this like that. I'm going to go to hit edit devices. Sorry, I got to select them. And I'm going to hit edit devices here. And so now we're going to go back and see that menu that I kind of skipped ahead last time. One cool thing here is that you'll now see that they do have the one common tag. But I'm going to hit my device configurations and it's going to bring up this new window. So this right here is telling me that I have 121 configurations available. Also have a quick little link here to the API documentation, which will give you a better overview as to what each of these APIs are available. But if you scroll through here, you'll be able to see that all of the options and configurations that I have available to me to be able to configure on a bulk setting. So for example, here's the room cleanup option. I can come back here, go back to standby. So if I want to turn my standby control, this right here is a cool link which will show me what products are available, and it'll also tell me what configuration is not supported. So if I do pick a setting that maybe is available on one product but not the other, say for example maybe Web Engine, it's not supported on the DX or SX series, and I want to turn that on or off, it would not be listed here. So it's telling me the total of devices that are available to observe this configuration. So I can select to either do the default value. It also tells me what is on or off. I'm going to change that to on. So now what I'm doing here is I'm making this configuration. I hit next. It's telling my 2 products. I'm going to do standby control. I'm going to tell it to be on for both of my devices. I can delete this action or edit it. And now I'm just going to go ahead and hit apply. And that's going to tell me that everything's fine. So there's success for this configuration. I had no errors. I can download a CSV file here to kind of give me more of an idea as to what actually happened. But I'm going to go ahead and close this. And so now if I go and I look at this particular device, for example, and I've clicked on this one, you see my tag here, and I look at my device configurations, and if I scroll down to standby and control, you'll see that it is turned on, no longer following the default value, which happened to also be on, but we are on. This is something else right here I want to show you too, is I did do this configuration, but it says this device is offline. Changes will apply when it goes back online. So one really cool thing to say or to mention here is that you can do these configuration changes through Control Hub and do a bulk configuration change. If that device is offline, the device config will be set here and it will be written and it will apply when that device comes back online and has control from Control Hub. So that's a very cool, important feature to allow you to be able to change these settings but not have to worry about the device being online at that exact moment. Where that is different from leveraging things like the API available, which by the way, that's the underlying kind of platform that we're using here. We're using our existing API. But if I try to send an API command to a device, either via the local API or using the CloudX API, that it requires that device to be able to be on and be able to send a response, because when I authenticate, I have to be able to get back and say, hey, we've accepted this config. This doesn't have to worry about that. So if this device was offline, I could not send an API call to the device and it would not observe it, so I'd have to wait until that device came back online. In this particular scenario, I can set these configurations and know that when they come back online, they check in with Control Hub, those configurations will be set and you'll be good to go. So a really cool feature here. You can see that there's a lot of potential use cases for this. couple things that I do want to note is that when it comes to these devices, one of the questions we get is like, well, what's going to, take precedence? Like, what happens if, I have a call manager, for example, and it needs to write a config because it's on-prem and I'm using Webex Edge, for example. Well, here's the thing. When you enable this, which by the way, for your Edge devices, this is something that you actually have to opt into. So by default, you won't be able to control the devices that are on Edge without the ability of turning on the feature. So I'm actually going to go to my device settings here, and you'll see that Webex Edge for devices allow Control Hub to manage configurations. You're going to see here that it does require CE 913. And then if this is disabled, you'll just be able to see the status of them in Control Hub. You're not going to be able to write to them. So you would want to leave this setting to off if you still want to have Call Manager to be able to manage your device. If you turn this on, when you try to do configuration changes from Call Manager, you'll actually get an error saying that it's unable to, it's not authorized. So it's either one or the other. And we do this so we don't have, a mismatch or a, conflicting configurations trying to talk to each other. I will say this, however, if you do have devices, and let's say that someone logs into the local web GUI and they're authorized, so they have a local account, or they are using the regular XAPI or Cloud XAPI, and they make a configuration change, those would be allowed. And all that will happen there is that Control Hub would then be updated and know and show that new value. So where this is important is that there is instances where, let's say you're using a macro, for example, and a macro may change the state based off of something that macro is doing of a particular value that you had set from a bulk config or a config from Control Hub. Well, that value will be authorized because it's using an admin account or someone that's able to make those changes, and Control Hub's not going to override that. There's no explicit overriding of these things today. But what I will tell you is that because we are using the APIs available that we have through the cloud for this, there are some potentials for us to be able to look at kind of doing some enforcements of this or some alerting if something changes based off of things like templates is something that we'll have the groundwork for that we're wanting to introduce. So when you look at being able to do things from a template perspective, this is kind of be the foundation for that, which will allow you to kind of apply these templates and then be able to have some reporting as to something if it gets changed or something that you don't want to have changed. You can kind of be alerted if someone actually has that capability. So a lot of potential here. This is kind of an initial phase 1. This is generally available, and it's something we wanted to talk about. Now, a couple last things I want to leave you here with is that I want to share a GitHub page, and I'm going to put this in the comments below, but this is a great page that's part of the Cisco DevNet. It's a little bit different than our normal room macros, but this is some device API examples. Now, one of the cool things about this bulk configuration is because we are using our API, that means that you could use a utility that you have, like Postman, or in this case, CE Deploy, which is again the product that we have, an amazing tool from Chris Norman that again we'll do a video on, kind of go more in depth and share more about that. But if you're using something like that or some sort of scripting, you can do bulk patching on your own with your using the Cloud API. So the really cool thing about this is it basically just uses the ability to do some filters. So I'm going to put this link in here. We're not going to go into too much detail, but what I do want to show you is this bulk patch kind of JavaScript that we have here. And I kind of want to just show, at least down here in this middle part, it talks about filling in any search limits you want to apply on the selection of devices that you want to apply the setting to. So if you do have a setting that you want to use, you could do things based off of like serial number. Remember tagging, just like what we did there? You can set these tags to, or even specific display names, etc. Whatever upgrade channel. So maybe you only want to do this to the devices that are on a preview, or if you're an EFT customer, maybe a beta channel, for example. you can do these bulk settings just using your own scripts to be able to apply these configs and send that one command and do it based off of a particular filter. So really cool feature here. Again, I want to show you this. There's also a couple things talking about some multi-line configuration examples, including this specifically the bulk signage example. So really cool stuff here. I'm going to go back to my main view. A lot to talk about here. We'll probably do some more deeper dive videos on this. This video is already a little bit long, but I wanted to kind of really highlight and show how this is going to make administering your devices so much easier in regards to Control Hub. And again, the best part about this is that now, because you're using the cloud, this could be a device that's in your office, so as you prepare for return to work, but for people that are maybe staying at home, they've got their Webex devices, their Desk Pro, their RoomKit Mini, whatever it may be. It could be at their home. You can still configure and send changes and help do some support to these without them actually being on net or on your network. They just have to have that secure connection to the Webex cloud. So I hope you find this video very useful. Again, not a lot, so much more we could go into, but stay tuned. We're going to do more videos on this series, a lot more around management and some additional features that are coming. GA today, try it out, definitely provide some feedback. Let us know if you have any more questions on it. We'll try to get to the answers as soon as we can. But thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.